The meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy on February 28, 2025, was meant to be a show of solidarity. Instead, it descended into a very public and acrimonious dispute. The meeting, held at the White House, quickly went off script. Trump, along with Vice President J.D. Vance, accused Zelenskyy of being ungrateful for U.S. support. They pressured him to engage in peace talks with Russia. Trump, known for his direct communication style, did not mince words. He accused Zelenskyy of not acknowledging the billions of dollars in aid provided by the United States. He suggested that Ukraine was not doing enough to bring the war to an end. Vice President Vance echoed these sentiments, emphasizing the need for a swift resolution to the conflict. The atmosphere in the room grew tense as Zelenskyy defended his country's position. Zelenskyy, visibly frustrated, attempted to explain Ukraine's perspective. He emphasized the ongoing Russian aggression and the importance of continued U.S. support. Zelenskyy stressed that Ukraine was fighting for its survival against an invading force. He maintained that peace negotiations could only occur once Russia withdrew its forces. However, his pleas seemed to fall on deaf ears. The meeting ended abruptly, without any tangible agreements or a joint press conference. A planned minerals deal between the two countries was also scrapped. The abrupt ending and the public nature of the disagreement sent shockwaves through the international community. It raised serious questions about the future of U.S.-Ukraine relations and the trajectory of the ongoing conflict. The diplomatic clash coincided with a particularly devastating day for Ukraine on the battlefield. Russian forces inflicted heavy losses on Ukrainian troops in the Kursk region. The Russian Defense Ministry reported over 220 Ukrainian soldiers killed in the fighting. They also claimed the destruction of a significant amount of Ukrainian military equipment, including tanks, armored vehicles, and artillery pieces. Undeterred by the difficult day, Zelenskyy embarked on a whirlwind diplomatic tour of Europe. His first stop was London, where he met with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The two leaders discussed ongoing UK support for Ukraine and signed a £2.26 billion loan agreement for defense purposes. This financial aid package aimed to bolster Ukraine's military capabilities and demonstrate unwavering UK support. Zelenskyy's visit to the UK also included a meeting with King Charles III. The Ukrainian president used this opportunity to thank the UK for its steadfast support since the beginning of the conflict. He emphasized the shared values and interests between the two nations. Zelenskyy also highlighted the importance of continued global pressure on Russia to end its aggression. From London, Zelenskyy traveled to Brussels to attend a European Leaders Summit. The summit focused on two main goals: securing peace in Ukraine and increasing European defense cooperation. Zelenskyy used this platform to rally support for his country and urge for a unified European response to Russian aggression. The summit served as a crucial opportunity to discuss strategies for ending the war and deterring further Russian aggression in the region. The international community reacted with a mixture of condemnation and concern to the Trump-Zelenskyy spat. European leaders, particularly those who have been steadfast allies of Ukraine, expressed their disapproval of Trump's behavior. German Chancellor Ursula von der Leyen, Portuguese Prime Minister Antonio Costa, and French President Emmanuel Macron all publicly reaffirmed their support for Ukraine. They condemned Russia's continued aggression, emphasizing their commitment to a peaceful resolution. However, not all international reactions were negative. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, known for his closer ties with Russia, sided with Trump's call for peace. Orban has long advocated for a negotiated settlement to the conflict, even if it means Ukraine making concessions. His stance reflects a broader debate within Europe about the best way to end the war and the extent to which Ukraine should be supported in its fight against Russia. Western media outlets were overwhelmingly critical of Trump's conduct during the meeting with Zelenskyy. Newspapers and television channels described the encounter with terms like disaster, vile, and ambush. They argued that Trump's behavior was deeply damaging to U.S. interests and undermined the transatlantic alliance. Many commentators expressed concern that Trump's actions would embolden Putin and weaken international support for Ukraine. The incident also reignited debates about Trump's foreign policy approach. Critics argued that his America First agenda and his transactional view of international relations had weakened U.S. alliances and emboldened adversaries. They pointed to his past praise of Putin and his skepticism of NATO as evidence of his misguided foreign policy. Supporters, however, defended Trump's approach, arguing that he was simply putting American interests first and trying to avoid costly foreign entanglements. The White House showdown cast a long shadow over the future of U.S.-Ukraine relations. Trump's warning to Zelenskyy that U.S. aid could be withdrawn if a peace deal was not reached sent shockwaves through Kiev. The United States has been a crucial ally for Ukraine since the beginning of the conflict, providing billions of dollars in military and humanitarian aid. A withdrawal of U.S. support would be a significant blow to Ukraine's ability to defend itself against Russian aggression. The incident also raised concerns about the Biden administration's ability to maintain bipartisan support for Ukraine in Congress. While the Democratic Party largely supports continued aid to Ukraine, Republicans are more divided. Some Republican lawmakers have echoed Trump's skepticism of U.S. involvement in the conflict, arguing that the United States should focus on domestic issues. Despite the uncertainty, the Biden administration has repeatedly reaffirmed its commitment to supporting Ukraine. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and other senior officials have emphasized that U.S. support for Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity is unwavering. However, the White House has also stressed the need for Ukraine to demonstrate progress in tackling corruption and implementing reforms. The future of U.S.-Ukraine relations will likely depend on several factors. The outcome of the 2024 U.S. presidential election will be crucial. A Trump victory could lead to a significant shift in U.S. policy towards Ukraine. The trajectory of the war itself will also play a major role. A protracted conflict with no end in sight could test the patience of U.S. policymakers and the American public. Finally, the level of unity within NATO and among Western allies will be essential. A divided West would be a boon to Putin and could embolden him to escalate the conflict.